Welcome to another read of one of my articles. The article is available on Substack should you prefer to read it. A country traveling towards its own soul. I write this watching how India is learning to travel again, not outward, but inward. The buses into temple towns are no longer seasonal. They arrive on ordinary Tuesdays, carrying grandparents, college friends, young couples with new babies, people who have saved for years, and people who simply felt a tug in the chest and decided to go. Religious tourism has become the quiet spine of domestic travel, more than half of all the movement, expected to more than double within this decade. Most of the nation's most visited destinations are places of worship, a reminder that, for many Indians, travel is still guided by faith and memory. The transformation is most visible in old cities of faith. Ayodhya, Varanasi, and Ujjain no longer feel like places that wake only for a festival. They breathe through the year. Narrow lanes have turned into confident streets. Small shops have grown glass fronts. Homestays sit beside ancient homes. What strikes me is not just the scale of visitors, but the mood. Heritage has learned to walk beside modern planning without losing its manners. When pilgrims arrive in town, the town changes. Every traveler sets off a chain. The flower seller, the rickshaw driver, the woman rolling puris before dawn, the boy learning to guide heritage walks, the farmer whose vegetables reach the new cafes, all become part of one living circle. Livelihood follows faith more reliably than any policy document could predict, and the sector now supports crores of jobs across the country. Public investments have helped clear the path. Better roads, cleaner ghats, smarter stations, and airports have made these journeys kinder on the body. Big hotel brands and digital platforms have discovered what locals always knew, that these towns are real, real markets with real stories. The most beautiful shift is cultural. Music, once heard only in courtyards, now fills open squares. Crafts that were fading away have found new buyers. Young entrepreneurs are creating wellness centers and storytelling walks, giving tradition a contemporary voice. Religious tourism is turning into a conversation between generations. The bias is traveling with us. This is where the behavioral lens becomes interesting. Identity bias sits at the center. A visit to a shrine is not a holiday checkbox, but a statement about who we are and where we come from. The ticket is really a thread that ties family history to the present day. Mental accounting bias explains why households protect the expenses even when other plans are trimmed. Money for spiritual journeys lives in a separate mental drawer marked as duty and gratitude, so it feels different from ordinary leisure spending. Authority bias adds momentum. When the state renovates temples, builds corridors, and announces official circuits, travelers assume the experience will be safe and organized. Endorsement turns into action. Social proof bias works quietly in the background. Crowds create comfort if neighbors, cousins, and colleagues are going, and the destination begins to feel like a natural choice. Scarcity bias sharpens decisions around festival calendars. Certain blessings belong to certain moments, so families rush to book trains and rooms long before they would for any other trip. Default bias explains how new highways and fast trains change behavior. Once the journey becomes easier, choosing the pilgrimage becomes the path of least resistance. And finally, the halo effect lends to the glow. Clean facilities, branded hotels, and and tidy promenades spills their positive impression onto the spiritual experience itself, making faith feel modern and cared for. Old faith, new confidence. What I see is not a return to the past, but rewriting of it. Practical progress and personal belief are learning to travel together. India is meeting its sacred places with fresh eyes, and the places are responding with opportunity and dignity. This movement feels both ancient and newly confident, like a country discovering that growth can have prayer on its lips and enterprise in its hands.